Today we will go through with multifunctional take function. Get ready for the video.
With take, you can grab the last rows of your dataset. This makes it easier to do calculations like the average spend of the last 5 campaigns or calculate the average sales of the last 12 months. As your dataset grows, take is able to go down to the bottom of your dataset and grab the number of rows that you need. Other cool things you can do is something like this. You have the ability to return and means that are associated with the highest cost and the lowest cost. And here's the great bit. You actually just need a single take function formula to return both results. You don't have to write 2 separate functions. I'm going to show you how in a second, but first, let's rewind, go back to the basics, and see how take works before we build on it. The take function is super easy to get the hand of. All you need is an array. This can be a single column, it can be a single row, or it can be a matrix like the content of this table. Then you have to define the number of rows. If I put 3, for example, and I close a bracket, press enter, I get the first 3 rows returned. So notice it's not just the third row, but it's everything before it as well. If I put -3, so if you work with minus numbers, you get the last rows returned. So this now is the last 3 rows. If you wanted everything returned, you just leave it empty. So you separator, then you press enter and you return all the rows. If you wanted specific columns, so let's say I wanted the first 2 columns, I can move on to the column argument, put it 2, and now I have all the rows of the first 2 columns. If you're wondering what the difference between take and choose calls or choose rows function is, here it is. Let's take choose calls. My array is going to be the same thing. Now for caller, it says column number 1, column number 2. If I put a 2, close the bracket, press enter, I just get the second column returned. If I put a 1 after the 2, I get the second column and then the first column returned. So the choose calls, I get to define specific columns I want returned. The same with choose rows, I can define specific rows I want returned. Whereas the take, it's going to take everything up to and including the row and the column I defined here. Now let's see how we can combine take together with the filter function. Here we want to return the last 5 campaigns where marketing spend was greater or equal to 1,000. So we can use the filter function first to get that done. We just want the campaigns returned. So I'm going to filter for campaign name. I want to include only the column where marketing spend is greater or equal to 1,000. Now when I press enter, I return everything that's greater or equal to 1,000, but I only want to take the last 5 campaigns. So we're going to put this inside the take function and go with -5 to get the last 5 campaigns. Now again, this is derivative, of course. If I put this in and change this to LG Expo, the campaign is automatically included.